Hello and welcome back into Loftside Bantr. And on today's show, we're gonna get back into our weekly conversation with the Massachusetts Pirates of the Indoor Football League. Today we're gonna have Monty Montgomery, who is a linebacker and has just joined while they were on their road trip out in Arizona. So we're gonna have a great conversation with him. We're going to go into a little bit of what the expectations of fans should be at these sporting events. We've had some news come out of different things in the WNBA and baseball, other NBA situations where fans have been a little bit too much part of the game. So we'll go into that today. And just some overall look at the NBA, NHL playoffs again and kind of where they stand. You can follow everything that we're doing here at Loftside Bantr at www.loftsidebantr.com. Again, that's loftsidebantr.com. You can use the email address loftsidebantr@gmail.com. And then from there, you can check out all the different socials. You can see all the latest stuff. We have merchandise. And then we also have a ticket giveaway for the Massachusetts Pirates. So for the last home game of the year against the Bay Area Panthers, Section 118. We have 4 tickets. We're going to tell you how to be able to enter that and how to have a chance to win some tickets. With that, let's turn it over to myself and start the show.
We are on in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to Loftside Bantr. Today's episode is back with the Massachusetts Pirates and Monty Montgomery, one of their newer linebackers on the roster. We'll get into the world of sports and what has been happening over the last few days and everything else that the opening said. I would repeat it to you. I know I do that a lot, but you kind of know what's going on. You know, the beginning just kind of gives you the overview of everything that I actually talk about in the episode, so I record that after, and then forgetting completely that I've already told you at the beginning, so you know what's going on. I think at this point you know what's going on. But we do have a ticket giveaway for the Massachusetts Pirates and their last home game of this year. Before we do any of that, we are going to turn our attention to a few instances this past week or so with some fan issues with some professional teams. Over the past week, we've had Lucas Giolito from the Boston Red Sox come out and say that he's received death threats for himself and his family, which is, we're here to talk about what the expectation is for fans and everything else like that. People spend a lot of money to go to these games. And we all understand that. Even just thinking about all the times I went with my dad to the Patriots games and everything else, where you would have to go park for $50, be able to get into the stadium, you're paying $100+, for some tickets sometimes. If you're bringing your family, if you're bringing a couple of extra people, the food aspect of it where, Fenway Franks are outrageously priced and everything else like that. You spend a ton of money to go to all these things, but it does not, and I repeat, does not give you the excuse to act like an idiot towards these players. And the players are already in that scrutiny, already within, looked at from under a microscope and everything else. Every mistake that these professional athletes are making is magnified because, especially here in Boston with the Red Sox, it is one of those teams that is just beloved by the city. They went through all of their history and everything else like that to, not win a World Series in how long, and then coming out and winning so many different times over the last 20 years. And now that they've struggled, that's without doubt. They've been struggling. They've struggled. They're on a whole, kind of in the middle of the process of being swept by the Brewers right now. So, there's a lot of different aspects that go into all of this. But if you think that makes you a badass, or that makes you cool, or that makes you one thing, and I realize I sound like an old man, fans have every right to come on a show like this, or go on to EEI or the Sports Hub or anything else and voice displeasurement for how somebody is performing. They have every right to do that. But as soon as you cross that line, and we all know what line we're talking about. We're talking about threatening somebody and their family. We're talking about saying things that are racist or that are homophobic or whatever the case may be. We have the situation where, we've kind of looked at the WNBA and what was said in the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese dilemma, which I think we're getting too far into. And I think we're talking about a foul that happened in the WNBA and that has just exploded into this whole thing where, sports commentators and ex-athletes are going at each other and everything else. I digress on that. But if you think that gives you the right to do these things in arenas towards people and stuff like that, and what we seem to forget as sports fans, that these are people too. They are all people. They all are going to make mistakes. I'm sure nobody goes out and tries to throw and give up 100 runs a game. I'm sure nobody goes out and goes, I'm going to pitch specifically bad today. They can make bad decisions in certain situations, and we can all get frustrated with that. We all as fans want the best teams and want to be able to go to the people that root for other teams and go, my team is better than yours, even though you've done nothing other than just cheer. And I understand that I'm in that boat, but I would never go to a game and go, you know what, I'm going to hate this person so much that I'm going to threaten them or their family. Like, we need to get a grip on what we as fans think is appropriate in games and everything else. Again, come on this show. Say that you hate the person because they suck, they this and that, they're bummed, they're everything else. I mean, they're still at a point where most of us will never be. And that's pretty cool. But we have a right to voice that opinion. It's just not in that hateful way. I don't get how anybody can get that upset about it. As a kid and as a young man, I wanted to live and die with these teams. I wanted all these different things that, they won today. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, they suck. I can't believe they would do that. Oh, I can't believe Grady Little left Pedro in. Oh, I can't believe, the Patriots were undefeated and couldn't beat the Giants in the Super Bowl. Like, I can get disappointed just like everybody else, but I'm not losing sleep over it. And the people that go, and I get that there are so many different factors to all this. There's alcohol involved for a lot of this stuff. People go to have fun, relax, cheer on their favorite team, party a little bit too hard before or after a game. All of that is understandable to an extent. And I think we've reached that kind of extent quite a few times over the last few years. We've had other athletes come out and say that they've been threatened. We've had everything else like that. But I mean, even the NCAA last year, an article came out that said 1 in 3 stars receive abuse threats by bettors. Like, I'm a gambling man. I'll be the first to tell you that's one of my many vices. And I understand where my limits are. I've had to figure that out throughout my life. But I'm one of the lucky ones that has figured out where it is. If you're betting on things and then people are not performing and not doing this or anything else like that, and you go out, especially college athletes, like, get a fucking grip, man. Like, this is, we're reaching a point where we're going to all hide behind the stuff. Like, I know I have this platform and I'm going to, say things about athletes that, hey, I think he's just not good enough for this role, or I think he's not this or not that. It's in no way, shape, or form think that I'm better than that person. I'm not. But I'm not going to be afraid to say that, hey, I don't think that this person is going to be the answer to whatever position, whatever sport, insert position, insert sport here. Like, I knew last year, saying to just friends and family, Gerard Mayo for the Patriots wasn't the right coach. And I think he was put in an impossible situation. Do I think I could have stepped in and done any better? I mean, absolutely not. Well, I'm not qualified for that. But it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and I'm just going to say all the most hateful things. I'm going to say that I don't think he was ready. I don't think this was that. I don't think he's a bad guy. But, I'm going to have instances where I go after somebody and say, hey, what a bonehead play that was. Or, man, that sucked to make that decision, or whatever. But at this point in time, we're getting to a point where everybody is just keyboard warriors and are going to say hurtful things and everything else. And listen, they're definitely not in a position to not hear hurtful things. You've put yourself in the limelight. You're getting paid tons of money. You got to make plays when they require you to. And if you don't, you're going to have a fan base coming after you. That's just the way it is. And places like Boston, New York, LA, all of those markets have those types of instances where somebody is great one day, make amazing plays, and then the very next day, it's, the what have you done for me lately? And it's frustrating from a point of an athlete, I'm sure, because, you play all these great things, you have all these people cheering you on, and then the next day, you go 0 for 4, and all of a sudden you're a bum again. So I get it. But you're in that position because you've put in all this work. You've put in so much work that you're in the top echelon of this sport. You're going to have to be open to ridicule and everything else. And there are markets that we've seen great athletes not be able to compete in. Carl Crawford in Boston didn't work out because it just didn't seem like he could handle the Boston market. And whether that's actually true or not, or he just struggled for any of other reasons, he struggled here. The same thing with some great pitchers, and the same things with football players, basketball players, hockey players, all of the different things. But to think that people believe that sending death threats from a Twitter account or X, whatever it is, Instagram, Facebook, all those different things, where now people have to worry about what people are saying to them through all this stuff. Like, let's get a grip. Let's enjoy why we watch sports. Let's enjoy that aspect of it. Let's be real fans and, complain at the water cooler the next day at work with everybody else and talk to your friends and go, oh my God, I can't believe shit like that happened. Let's leave the threatening of people's lives out of it. We're getting so ridiculous in this country with all of that stuff that we're sliding in a direction, and it's starting with this, that this is acceptable to some people. You deserve to be banned. You deserve to never be allowed back in there again. You deserve to be kicked off whatever social media platform that you're doing this on. You deserve all those different things. So if you want to complain about your favorite athletes, just come on Loftside Bantr and we'll talk about it. That's all you got to do, is just come on the show, and then you can complain about whoever you want. I'm still waiting for the first kind of listeners to want to come on here and rant and rave about whatever. So I leave this open to fans. This platform is meant to have the fans give those opinions, give it back to them, and be able to have a place to have a natural conversation. Now, I could have people sign on and go, oh, we should get Tom Brady back for the Patriots. Okay, fine. That's not a realistic thing anymore. But at this point in time, we've got to stop with this stupid way that we go about our day and go, you know what? He pitched poorly today. The tap, and whatever you want to type in. You're not a sports fan. You're not a fan. You're just somebody that just wants to be heard for whatever reason. And sometimes it's just not worth it. So, I digress. I truly digress. We're going to hit a little ad for the Massachusetts Pirates, who have sponsored this show, which I am eternally grateful for. So we'll listen to that read, and then we're going to jump in with Monty Montgomery. This episode is brought to you by the Massachusetts Pirates of the Indoor Football League. Looking for a family-friendly night out that's anything but boring? Experience the high-octane action of indoor football, where every seat makes you part of the game. With tickets starting as low as $18, even front row seats are affordable. Be a part of the excitement. If a game ball lands your way, you get to keep it. How cool is that? And then after the final whistle, stick around for an autograph session with the players for just $15. Don't miss out. This is football like you've never experienced before. Come see the game in the Songus Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts. And for ticket information, Go to www.masspiratesfootball.com. Again, that's masspiratesfootball.com. And today we are very grateful to have Monty Montgomery, who's a linebacker for our Massachusetts Pirates. Monty, how are you today?
I'm well. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing great. So I know
Yes,
you're recently to the Pirates. You came
sir.
over while they were out in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right.
So you've had a standout college career. You've had a lot of different places that you've kind of been. Where did your journey start from, and how did you end up here?
Yeah, I was a lot of places, like you said. So I started out at Tulane University from high school. Then I went to Hutchins Community College for a year. Then I went to Louisville for like 4 years. Then I went to Ole Miss for a year. And that's how I ended here. I was in the 24 draft and was working back home, training and working, and I'm here with the Mass Pirates.
Nice. So you and I were neighbors at one point, I believe, because I
Really?
lived in New Orleans, right by Tulane.
We can consider each other neighbors.
Yeah, that's fine. You live in the New Orleans, everybody's your neighbor, right?
Yes.
So now one question that I have that you might have some interest to is kind of like what is the process of the transfer portal and everything else like that? We hear about it a lot nowadays. So I'm kind of wondering, like, how does that work from your perspective?
From my perspective, I would say I wish that I made better choices,
Uh-huh.
and I wish I would have made better choices as far as like really evaluating what I should do and how I should go about things, and getting while you hot,
Right.
getting while you hot.
So is it like a kind of a free for all? If you say, "Hey, I'm looking to transfer," do you just get communication from a bunch of people?
Yeah, you can have God calling you, man. You can have everybody calling you. It's gonna be crazy.
Gotcha.
Yes.
What was a moment kind of in your life that you realized football was more than just kind of a hobby? When was a time that you thought, "Hey, this is what I want to do"?
I always had a love for football, and I will always have it. But the age of 4, I started playing football for a team called something Raiders. Harmon Park Raiders or something like that in Soccer Line in Charleston. And I just fell in love with it, man. Like my cousins grew up playing ball. One just finished playing ball at the Soccer Line University, and it's just my passion. I really love it, man. Like it's like nothing about the game I don't like. Like I even like watching film, man. Like, and that's the most boring part. But watching films is fun. Like you appreciate it when you miss it. I had to realize that when I got hurt and this past year. So it made me like really appreciate these moments and things like that.
Did you always play linebacker, or did you play other positions as well?
Growing up, I had that rock, man. They had me in the backfield scoring tugs and things like that. But I had to make a business decision, man. My uncle would always tell me I'll be playing somewhere in the defense. He would be saying cornerback because my size back then, but it grew to linebacker. Yes, sir.
So it's a very demanding role, obviously, as a linebacker. What aspect of the position do you love the most? Coverage, blitzing, play calling, anything like that?
So my friends that's in the league and stuff like that, they would say pass rushing, but I would say scoring touchdowns and creating turnovers. That's my favorite about the game. Just making an offensive coordinator upset. That's my favorite. How
do you prepare, mentally and physically for a game day? Do you have any rituals or anything like that, or is it, how do you get yourself into that kind of zone?
It's crazy. I was just asked that earlier, man. Honestly, I just go about the day like a normal day. You can't put too much pressure on yourself, so I just like to vibe out like that. And I just go about my day the regular way. Same I would do as a practice, because all game days it's just an elevated practice. This is how I consider it.
Yes. What would you say your play style is? How do you play the game?
Like as a player comparison, you saying?
Or yeah, you can compare yourself, or do you have a certain is there something that you do, or is there a certain player that you? I mean, yeah, we can go with that. That's fine.
We're around the same age. I'd say Michael Parsons, because the way we pass rush, like versatile, in the pass, also in the run sideline to sideline capabilities. So I'll say a baby version of Michael Parsons.
Okay.
A baby version though, because he's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys just went out to Arizona and come back. You have a home game this weekend. I know the games out there didn't go kind of the way you wanted them to. So what adjustments are being made for this game against the Sharks?
We made a lot of adjustments, man. If you've seen the transactions, like we made a lot of adjustments. Like that's all I can say. You can't just give away a game plan, but
of course.
The biggest adjustments was transactions and people buying in, and that's exactly what we needed. I'm not saying that we have love lost for the guys that left, but it's just that's what these guys, the GMs and the coaches decided, and we got to run with it. We got to move forward and start winning, man, because that's the goal, to win and have fun. So it's like I see this process as a JUCO process. Like you win, you dominate, you do your job, and everything else, like you get paid and you just move on to the next level. Whatever level you consider is next for you, that's how we look at it.
So what's the vibe in the locker room right now? Like I said, you're obviously coming off a couple of tough games. So what's you've made some adjustments over the bye week, as you said, but what's the vibe right now with everybody?
After they made the transactions, it was like, dang, bro, like we lost him. Like he was a good guy. But everybody lit, man. Got to be lit.
Right.
We enjoying the game that we love and cherish the most. So yeah, the vibes are definitely positive.
Perfect. Coach Manas is also new. Is there anything that he's brought in that it has been different from what you've been taught throughout your career?
Coach Manas, I heard he's like a legend around here in the arena league, but teaching wise, I usually work with like the D-line to get run fits and stuff like that. So I can't really say he taught me a lot, but I can say like from off the field, he taught me to like cherish your family and things like that. But like on a football perspective, I can't really say I learned much from him just because I only been here for like 10 days,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the biggest difference? I ask everybody, all the players that come in this, but what's the biggest difference from what you've experienced in your time in the SEC and at Louisville and stuff like that to arena football? Like, what's the biggest difference?
The biggest difference between those three, I'd say the ACC has the best guys. Yes. The SEC has monsters, of course, like big monsters.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. In arena, they have some sleepers in the arena league. So you got to respect those guys. You got to.
It's widely considered to be faster in arena. Would you say that it is faster?
Yes,
as a game?
Very fast. You can get your shit knocked loose very quickly. Yeah.
When you're not playing and you're not training or practicing and everything, what do you do to unwind?
I watch a lot of reality TV. I want to actually have my own show, reality TV. So I watch a lot of that. I like to do adventurous things. I like to do activity-based things like Main Event. Have you ever heard of it? Like arcading and go-kart. I like doing things like that, activity-based.
Nice.
Yes.
I do love a solid go-kart. I will admit that as
absolutely.
well.
Yes, absolutely.
There's quite a few of the big, high-speed ones up here in Massachusetts. So hopefully you get some time to do that.
Absolutely gonna have to. I'm gonna have to search it up, actually.
What's something that the fans would be surprised to learn about you?
That I have 2 kids. They probably don't. I mean, if you look at my profile on my Instagram, you'll see that. But I have 2 kids. I'm a flashy guy. Shit. Yeah. I mean, my profile will tell you a lot. If you look at my profile, just don't look too deep, like then you'll find things that you think you know, but you really don't know,
Gotcha.
Assumptions.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Who's the toughest offensive player that you've had to go up against in your career?
Toughest dog. I went against anyone I went against Trevor Lawrence. I went against Etienne. Like the whole Clemson offense was incredible that year. It was 2020, I believe, or 2019. Yes, 2019. That whole Clemson offense was lit that year. They had Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, Higgins, or whatever his name is, and Josh Ross or whatever.
Yeah. He had
They
the
had
like
a
the
squad.
quickest, had like the quickest combine for a while or whatever it was.
That was crazy. Like that was the year they lost in the against LSU, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I got to say, all of those guys, I got to give respect to those guys. Lit.
As you've come into the Pirates and the organization stuff like that, what goals do you have set for yourself?
I have team goals first. I would say to get at least 10 or 12 guys from this squad to finish out and go to the next level, whatever level that they choose to go to, and hopefully get that role like UFL, CFL, or even overseas, or even the NFL. Shit, nothing's impossible. But that's the team goal for me. And another team goal, I want to win it out, man. I don't like that losing shit. That's just no fun. And player goal, being healthy and getting to the next level, man. That's all that really matters. That's my player goal for me. Yes, sir.
I just lost my spot. What legacy do you want to leave behind? Let's say you get that opportunity at the next level, which I very much hope you do. What's the legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want Pirates fans to remember about you?
That I went hard every snap and that he knew what he wanted. He got what he wanted. That's the legacy I want to leave. That I will definitely get everything I say I want, like a brat, that type of vibe. Yes.
Is there anything that you haven't been able to experience here in the Massachusetts that you want to?
So I played out here a couple times for in college, and I love Boston. Like if the Patriots come get me, I would break down crying to my knees, tears of joy. Like I love the state of Massachusetts. Like I won Fenway MVP here. Like I really love this place. It's like a good luck city for me. So I would really love for the Patriots to come right now.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you follow anybody in the league? Anybody that you keep in touch with in the league?
I got a really close friend from every team you can imagine. Like I played both like 4 schools. So I got a lot of friends every team. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let's see what else. What about this organization made you want to come play for the Pirates?
Jawad, man, he's very enthusiastic. He was calling me every day. It was like, bro, if you don't sign, you're a damn fool. You don't want to achieve all your goals in life. That's what I got from the message he was telling me. Like when we would talk on the phone at night, like got that message from him. So definitely Jawad, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's funny that I everybody seems to have that same mentality of Jawad is always the one that's reaching out, always the one that's enthusiastic. He really sells you on everything. So
he's so passionate, it's scary. Like you wouldn't even think that from an owner, Like he's like the GM and all that. Like he's playing all types of roles, and I respect
that. What do you think the keys of the game will be for up against the Sharks? What do you have to do defensively to get the win?
You talking about Jacksonville, right?
Yes. What did I say?
Oh, I don't even know their mascot. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I believe it's the Jacksonville Sharks.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to get hip to the things in this league and stuff like that. Yes, sir. But keys to victory for this upcoming game tomorrow, I would say just bully their ass, man. I mean, that's what I was told in film that they did the first game. I heard they had like 4 turnovers or whatever the first time they played. So just bully their ass and take what you want. So that's my key to victory, just bully and harp on details and do your job. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And then whereas you kind of came in while they were out on the road and stuff like that, right after this game against the Jacksonville Sharks, you go back out on the road for 2 games. What is the biggest kind of difference with dealing with games on the road?
Games on the road is kind of different because like we would spend like a whole week out there, so it's like you got a lot of free time, and a lot of the guys they would like to go out and things like that. I mean, it's still life, but like you got a lot to fuck in, man. Like people don't understand that, so I can cuss in here, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I won't continue. I'm sorry.
No, you can. You can swear. You can say whatever you want. I put that nice little explicit sign next to it and covers me for everything. So.
Okay. But it's like some of the guys they got rid of, they weren't really bought in, and I can see why they let them go. But Yeah, I can see that now.
Is
So
is that something at this level that players come in and maybe don't buy in all the way? Is that a common thing, or is it just
yeah, they take it as a joke. Just like at JUCO, like if you ever heard of like watch if you ever watched Last Chance U and stuff like that, it's like characters that don't really care about what's going on and like what could potentially happen in the future. Like they just thinking about now, like partying, not watching film, like, just taking care of what you got to take care of. And it's like, bro, you can be here for 2 months and live your life with millions, but they just looking at it from like the quick little cash a week. It's not about that, man. It's about living your life and accomplishing your dreams. But yeah,
what is
I can harp on that all day, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's right. What is the one game that you've played in your career that you'll never forget?
One game. Dang.
I know I'm asking a tough one.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say when I won MVP, the Fenway Bowl, because I was coming off an injury that year, and that really it really made me really appreciate this the situation I was in. Then I got in the portal and went to Ole Miss, but then I sent my guys off. So that was like the guys I came into Louisville with. I sent like 6 of those guys off to the league that year. That was like the biggest moment of my career for sure. Winning MVP and sending my guys off to the NFL. They just waiting on me now, man. And I can't wait to join them and swap jerseys at the end of the game. That's what I'm waiting on now, man. So,
that was, you played Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
2022. Yep.
Yes, sir.
You said you like Fenway. So one of the big things around here is being able to use Fenway when it's not baseball season and stuff like that. So like having an outdoor hockey game and everything else like that, and then obviously having the bowl game there. So you think it worked out pretty well, and from your point of view, having the bowl game at a baseball stadium?
Oh, I loved it, every moment of it. Like that was bro. That's like the most iconic stadium in the world. Like the freaking Red Sox, man. Like, bro, Fenway's beautiful. Like they took us on a tour and all that. Like we was right above the big monster, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, the Green Monster. Yep.
Yeah, we was right behind it eating hot dogs before the game, and like, man, it was a vibe. There's a lot of moments and memories that I enjoyed while we were there. Yes.
All right. Everybody, this is Monty Montgomery, your linebacker for the Massachusetts Pirates. I want to thank you very much for your time today. I told you I wouldn't take up too much time, but some great answers there, so I had to follow up on some of them. So again, I thank you very much for your time, and I wish you best of luck tomorrow and for the rest of the season.
Thank you, man, and I really appreciate you for having me.
All right, have a good rest of your day.
You too.
And I want to thank Monty Montgomery again for his time. Some great answers. A linebacker that has been both in the ACC and the SEC, and now finds himself with your Massachusetts Pirates. Again, their next game is tomorrow night against the Jacksonville Sharks at home in Lowell. It's at 7:05. As mentioned on some of the other podcasts, the Sharks and the Pirates have split the season series so far 1-1. And this will be the rubber match of that season series. The Sharks sit at 6-2, where the Pirates are 2-5, coming off of a 2-game skid out in Arizona. So hopefully some home cooking will be just what they need to turn the season around and make their push for the playoffs. Tickets are still available. You just go to masspirates.football.com. Again, that's masspirates.football.com for all your ticket information. And you can look into tickets for next year and everything else. Seeing the new roster moves. The Pirates have made quite a few roster moves, as mentioned in the interview. They're looking to inject some energy into the team and hopefully make that push, like I said, towards the playoffs. And we'll go ahead and kick it back over to the studio. And by the studio, I mean the loft. So that way we can finish up the show with some talk of the NBA and NHL playoffs. So we're back in studio here, or like I said before, the loft. We've had the ending of the conference finals for both the NHL and the NBA playoffs. We have one that's a repeat of last year's championship, and we have one that is, I'm sure, for the NBA at least, was the worst case scenario that they could possibly have as far as markets in the championship, but two young, exciting teams in it. Let's start with the NHL, which is still interesting to me that you can pull up ESPN and you still have to go to more sports to get to the NHL, which for playoff hockey, as I've mentioned before on this podcast, is second to none. It's a phenomenal product to watch. I wish the regular season was more like that and that it was this quicker pace and all these different things, whereas kind of that regular season, you got to grind to get through some of the games. That's just kind of how it is. I digress. So we're back with the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Last year, the Florida Panthers went up 3-0, which as a Bruins fan, everyone was like, oh, crap, they're going to win a Stanley Cup, and we're going to have to hear about it. This is unreal. They're a dirty team. They're this and that. Then the Edmonton Oilers came all the way back. To send it to Game 7 and lost. And it was a very fun series, all those games, because you had one instance that it was going to be a demolition sweep where they just come out and they win in 4 games. And then the Edmonton Oilers come all the way back, and you go, now I'm going to watch a team blow a 3-0 lead in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it's going to happen to the team that everybody, at least from this Northeast area, hated at the time. Now it's a little different. I'm going to tell you now, I am always a fan of seeing new. I like when my teams obviously win back to back, win all these different championships and everything else like that. I will always root for that. But I like seeing new. I like seeing new teams win. I like seeing teams that haven't won for a while win. I like seeing the superstars win and everything else like that. The Florida Panthers won last year, so I'm going to root for the Edmonton Oilers this year, not because I don't like the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers have been a thorn in the Bruins' side for a long time. And, you know, you can resent that they have all this talent and everything else. They were able to build this winning team. But they are a very talented team. They have always been a very talented team with this core together. It's just now that they start to put it all together, and now they even have Brad Marchand. Yes, I would like to see, if there's a consolation for me with the Florida Panthers winning back-to-back, it's the fact that Brad Marchand's on the team this year, and he wins his second cup. That would be fun for me because of the Bruins connection. I'd like to see the Edmonton Oilers win. Connor McDavid is a bona fide superstar in this league, and he doesn't even lead his team in points or goals. Leon Draisaitl leads that team. So Draisaitl had 106 points, 52 goals, and 54 assists this year. Connor McDavid only led the team in assists with 74. An offensive-heavy team. It has been that way, especially with Skinner and Picard being your goaltender tandem, if you will. One was in, one was out. At one point, Skinner either gave up 4 goals or he had a shutout. That was the only 2 options that you had. He didn't give up 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. He either gave up 4 or more or had a shutout. So I'll be interested to see what happens with that aspect of it, because that back end of that Oilers team is still going to cause some problems. The Panthers obviously have the goaltending in Bobrovsky, who is again, unbelievable talent at goaltender. I mean, Bobrovsky was part of the Flyers, part of the Blue Jackets, always had some really quality years, some really good goals against averages and stuff like that. When he first came to Florida, he struggled mightily, and then over the last 2 seasons, he's put it back together. He's 36 years old. I thought he'd start slowing down at some point. Obviously not. And this is the first Stanley Cup rematch since the Detroit Red Wings, versus the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2008 and 2009. So, again, a little interesting kind of caveat to having a repeat Stanley Cup finals. We'll keep it a little bit shorter as well, because we're going to do a preview special. I'm thinking of having Sir Daniel and another brother, David, coming on to talk about the hockey Stanley Cup finals. So we'll go into that, and I'm sure we'll go into some Bruins stuff. So we'll skip over to the NBA, and I'm just going to say right off the bat and get it out of the way. all the celebrating that the New York fans did was for naught. Now, the question I heard posed not too long ago was whether you would consider this a successful season as a New York Knicks fan. And I've have some text out there to some people to see what their opinion is, because I'm not sure. Because, yes, you did beat the Boston Celtics, and, again, not going to use any of the excuses of injuries or anything else like that, because I don't think it would have mattered either way. But with that being said, and then you get to the Eastern Conference Finals and still lose to the Indiana Pacers, this was one of your better chances to get to the finals. I said at the beginning of the year, and I still stood by it, that I didn't think they did quite enough. Now, I didn't think they did quite enough to get past the Celtics, which they obviously did. So that's where all of this can come in. I've heard Knicks fans say, hey, we've done enough that the Celtics have to really revamp their team because of this series. Whether that's true or not is whatever. It's just the fact that I can't tell if this is a success for that New York team, because the expectations should have been, with all the moves that you made in the offseason, was to get to the NBA Finals. And you still didn't do it. Indiana looks great. I don't think they look great enough to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder just, between their defense and the scoring that SGA can put together, and then all of your other young talent, like, this team's going to be together for a little while. So we may be seeing quite a few wins. If they win this year, this could be a run. And I'm not saying they're going to win 3 or 4 in a row, but I think they could go and win quite a few over a short time span. Indiana's in a good spot too. Pascal Siakam, Eastern Conference MVP, whether or not Tyrese Halliburton thought he was going to get it or not, as most of you can probably see, he was walking forward ready to accept it, and it was not him. I mean, he scored 8 points in Game 5, so, I mean, that's not MVP numbers. But, I mean, this team has been fun to watch. They've been very fun. So, I think that they're going to give them a little bit more trouble than they thought. I'm going to go 6 games. I'm going to say the Thunder in 6 is what I'm going to do. And we'll go into another NBA preview episode as well. So expect a few episodes to come out throughout this process over all of this. Some other sports news that has come up over the last few days. The Colorado Rockies are 9-50. 9 wins, 50 losses, which is still on pace to be worse than the Chicago White Sox last year, which I thought that was a terrible team. I'll be honest with you, and if you're a betting person, which I may or may not be, fading the Rockies this year may be a great way to do this. May be great. Who knows? I mean, 9 wins in the first almost 60 games is, I didn't think was possible in baseball. I mean, you have to have some sort of bounce go your way at some point in time, right? You would think so. But it just seems like the ownership doesn't care out there. And I know very little of their ownership, but boy, a 9-50 team can't be anywhere close than what you thought it was. So I think the Rockies are going to be in that kind of position for a little while. College baseball, it's about that time for the college baseball playoff and everything else. The number 1 seed Vanderbilt and number 2 seed Texas both knocked out before they reached the regional finals. First time that's happened ever. And then we're going to get into some show news. So one of the great things about this show right now is the fact that I am turning it into kind of what I'm doing full time, which is crazy to me. Not because I'm scared of anything, but I never thought I would put myself in this position to make this kind of a full-time gig. It is right now. It doesn't mean I'm not going to, go and do other work and help produce, funds to make sure this keeps going. But numbers and everything else like that have been great. They've been great so far. They've really helped me figure out a lot of different things that people like, don't like, and I've tried to narrow that down. Now, there's going to be some excitement to all of this because, for one, we are now part of a LLC called Loftside Creative Media. Now, the reason why that's important right now is because this overall umbrella company is going to produce more content, such as more podcasts and more streaming and everything else. So we're going to start working on that. There are some things in the pipeline that we're going to be able to produce more shows. So there's one coming out, or I hope that there's one coming out that's going to be very college football centric. And I'll keep that close to the chest with everything else for right now. There's another show that I'm hoping to be a part of the Loftside Creative Media family. And you'll see logos going out for the website and everything else of Loftside Creative Media and what we'll cover. Loftside Bantr will most likely cover mostly sports, and then we're going to start looking into that gaming specific. We're going to look into kind of a coffee conversation show where it's kind of its own thing. We're going to do all those different things. So it's been great so far just doing this, and it's going to be just this for a little bit longer until we put all these things together. But again, Loftside Creative Media is going to be the company, overall umbrella company to this podcast. And I think it's going to be something I really enjoy doing. And I don't know if you can tell by the inflection in my voice, but I'm kind of smiling because it's not something that I ever thought I would have the opportunity to step away and do. And I appreciate all of the other avenues that I'm still working with and everything else. There should be some more interviews coming up. There will be another one with Marina, which will be great, with some more players from the New Hampshire Destroyers and other aspects of those interviews that people really seemed to like early on. And I had been trying to do some other things, but she'll be back on. We'll have Mass Pirates again. We'll have some other interviews that we've really kind of worked hard to get and look like they're in the works for hopefully tomorrow. And then we have, again, that NBA and NHL preview coming up. So there could be a lot of shows coming out this week. So I thank everybody for their patience for the rest of this week. And now you're going to get rewarded with a whole bunch of more content. So I have this one kind of going to be around 50 minutes or so. And then the next few will be the ones that will expand as far as timing and stuff like that. But again, I thank all the support and everything else. It's www.loftsidebantr.com. That's www.loftsidebantr.com. If you go there, you can see all the places where this episode goes, our social medias and everything else like that. And we're going to hopefully be able to really kind of ramp up everything. So thank you for everybody that's been patient through the first 23 or 24 episodes. We're now going to be really ramping up and sending out a couple more during each week and everything else. So again, thank you to everybody. And no matter where you are, whether it's morning, noon, or night, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, time, whatever you want to say. And we'll see you on the next show.